Excuse me. I think it's worth pointing out that two of the things that are sort of that are fueling this conversation, but sort of unspoken. One is the fact that I live in a country where the federal government is now broken. It's shut down. It's fucked up. Not as fucked up as many other governments around the world. You know, not the kind of corruption that is elsewhere. But what are we talking about here? We're talking about cities, a smaller, more human scale, smaller, more manageable way for people to self-govern and just get by. And the second thing talking about is the increasing disparity between rich and not rich. You know, we're living in this increasingly corrupt planet where the wealth disparity is out of whack and people don't have a shot. People don't have an opportunity. And I think that the essence of a city and the essence of you know, the kind of innovation, the sort of the people-powered, internet-powered innovation that is fueling, you know, Silicon Valley and all the you know, and the technology that is making a lot of jobs and a lot of opportunity right now is at its core. It's about empowering people, democratizing all kinds of things. The taxi driver will make more money if they're on GetTaxi.
So let's get back to the transportation, to Shahar, okay? Because this is something really basic, we really need it. And I want to, you represent a specific innovative platform that is determined by cities. What would you say is the most important contribution that your platform has given to cities in general, but maybe Moscow or London or New York specifically? Because to each city it's probably different. I'd like to talk about values, not only about time,
it's a simple question. I think, you know, I would start by saying happiness. For some people, it was really lifesaver, and you know, we talk about basic things. You need to, usually on Hari, you need to get from A to B, and if city is supportive, and any city we talked about, they are crowded and have traffic issues and parking issues and everything. And one of the things, it's a basic productivity when you need to move efficiently and deal with what you do. I think GetTaxi just, you know, in some places we call it magic. People click a button and they see the piece of metal coming and they smile like kids. But more importantly, it is. It's just magic wand. Yeah, it's a magic wand. We click, we got it. And but importantly is we make the city efficient and people efficient. Once you have these basics, I was saying that you know, city is advanced when it's supportive. City is advanced, then it's efficient, and making people getting from A to B quickly is an important thing. And importantly is that in any dense city you don't have a parking, you don't have that issue, and how you make it still green and so for GetTaxi the vision has become the vein of the city. If we can take the shared economy to the level where you really don't have the, you know, the objects you own, but you have the 50,000 of shared taxis. Taxi is just a name, but it's basically the public transport that some other people effectively doing it around. So you might end up having 50,000 cars in the city like Tel Aviv or bigger, and they will be doing the work. Today already we took it down to 2 minutes. So when you have a car in 2 minutes, it's always nearby. And that gives you freedom to say, okay, I don't buy my stuff. It means a lot for the country city.
A very important word. It gives you freedom. This is what you...
Freedom, definitely, yes. That's what I was saying. The private car is a freedom. The only reason people own cars is because it's freedom. You don't need to explain where you are to get the car. You leave your car very quickly. You don't pay for your ride. So for GetTaxi, it was important, A, to make it nearby. Whenever you click a GetTaxi in Israel today, it's 2-3 minutes. So it's even closer than you will go to the parking. B, when you leave a car, the payment happens on itself. It's a second magic. So it's become your own car, basically.
So we're starting to come to the words I like. Freedom, magic.
Freedom, magic, happiness. But economically wise, it's important. So people today, they have big objects like apartments. We talked about Airbnb and cars. It's a lot of investment. Instead, you can do this investment in education, kids, travel, happiness again, and don't put it in a car. So the cost of ownership is the same.
So if you thought about a taxi just as a medal, we're talking about freedom and magic, but somebody in the back really wanted to...
Hi.
Yeah.
My name is Ludo. I'm coming from Frankfurt.
From?
Frankfurt, in Germany, although I'm not German. But I founded a company which creates fully personalized trips for short city break travel. We are already in 11 cities in Europe.
And which is the most exciting city you feel you're dealing with?
Well, I like Berlin a lot, but I would like to start first talking about this topic, innovation, cities and people. My company...
Not start, but focus.
Focus, yeah. And my company started as, if we look today, people travel more and more often for short periods of time. Here in Tel Aviv, I just arrived 5 hours ago. I just went to the hotel to sleep for an hour, because I came in night. I had no way to know the city or how to get a taxi. And these platforms can help. Our application also helps the short break travelers visiting a city based on their preferences and time available. But looking to the cities also need to create environments for allowing innovation. And a good example, I'm from Portugal, in Portugal, and our country is under support of the International Monetary Fund because there is a crisis. But nevertheless, Portugal was able to innovate. The authorities were able to innovate, handling the city as a company. And Portugal has a surplus. They have no debt. I'm living in Germany, and it's very funny that the municipalities are bankrupt too in Germany. And if we look cities as a company, as a way of creating the conditions for innovation, I think is halfway through.
Is it your first time in Tel Aviv?
It is.
And how many days are you going to stay here?
I will stay for a week.
For a week. So at the end of the week, I want to hear if Tel Aviv is innovative, because you just left 1 hour. We'll hear it the rest. But one last comment from the girl, and then we're going for last comment from the panelists. Yes.
Okay, so regime again. Like maybe to add another name to the list of interesting cities to watch, I'd say Cologne, because I don't know if some of you have been to the Pirate Summit. It's creating a whole festival, a whole ecosystem around parents, hackers, people who want to change the world. And I think that it's not only about doing tech, but doing tech that has a sense, and a sense for common good and people who and big problems, exactly. So just to go on to another topic which was really a good topic 2 years ago, social, local, mobile. I think that's what we need as a city to be able also to grow startups. The social, like being social, being open to innovation, local, creating an ecosystem around startups to be able to grow them, and mobile, as you mentioned, that you can go easily everywhere and not being totally just free when you want to take the metro at rush hour. And it's also a structural thing, because if the costs are too expensive for startups, they won't be able to start and thrive. So in cities where the cost of living is very important, I think that the cities have to invest in startups and help them financially at the beginning.
Thank you very much. So last comment from our panelists. Glenn, last words? Maybe.
I would just say to focus on all the things we talked about, that not least being the point of mutual interest, but creating a shared economy and shared values around it, because values actually can be capitalized. And that's what we try to approximate when we do the accounting to estimate what the future cash flows are going to be and how you're going to be able to finance them. But to focus it on what are those things that link cities as centers with their peripheries, is to go back to Yates, the center won't hold without the peripheries that support them, the ecosystems that support the startups. And those need to be focused on specific sectors. You mentioned the problems in Amsterdam, but they're global problems. We've moved towards 9 billion people on the planet over the next 30 years. To focus on health, to focus on education, to focus on energy that doesn't sap resources but creates them, and to focus on food. So these sectors are really the sectors where apps will be extremely important in the creation of companies and networks in order to support those global solutions, without which all of these cities won't survive.
Frans, closing remarks on creative cities?
I think I was just thinking about yesterday when I forgot her name from Singapore. She said something very interesting. That cities are becoming innovative also because the government doesn't mingle in. So keep back the government, don't mingle too much. And which was interesting because I think that a city government or has to make things possible and let, as they say, 1,000 flowers blossom or something, but make the possibilities, but let the city develop itself. And let people develop itself, and people make the city, and not the city.
So, like you're saying, cities go back, but then we want, then we want supportive also.
No, but you have to see the possibilities. You have to encourage people. You have to make things possible legally, things like that, on buildings. But let the people make their own city.
Okay, Shahar.
From our perspective, when we face changes, we try to change the status quo. I think the most important thing is when city people are supportive. I said it before, but I actually want to summarize. I see it from many people. The meetups, the communities, it's all about supporting. And the reason is that when you do something, you change something. It's the honest truth is it's not a simple thing, and it's always have lots of critics and problems and ups and downs. And once the city and people who lives in the city are happy people, are open people, and supportive, then it's much easier. And I think the reason when San Francisco is so successful, and you just mentioned, the house and where everyone is creating, and Tel Aviv is about happy people who are happier for you when you're success, and they support you, and that's crucial base for any city to success. You mentioned Paris. It's once then there is it's not about something specific or pushing or promoting things. It's about people being really willing to help and support, and I think that's a crucial power that makes. And then the pins of the communities, they are just supportive to that to make it happen, because it should be on a closed circle, larger circle, and then larger circles such as city authorities, which are again supportive in Tel Aviv. We see how it happens with our company and others, and it's just crucial. Things will change anyway, but it will happen much quicker than there is such a supportive audience, and people are just happy. Okay. That's our
That's a closing word. Okay, Oren, closing remarks.
I think in the end of the day, great people attract great people.
Great people
attract great people, and that's what why a lot of people go to San Francisco, or why a lot of people go to New York. And I think one big question for every city is, how do we get the first great people that then attract the next great people? And there's a lot of different ways of doing that. And this can be universities, maybe it's art galleries or open space where people can come and experiment, like in Berlin. There's like with Santiago, and I mentioned yesterday in our conversations, the government is paid $40,000 to 1,000 companies from around the world to come to Santiago to start their companies there, and this had a transformation impact on Santiago as a city, and essentially jump-started an innovation ecosystem in Santiago, where suddenly these 1,000 people came in, more than 1,000 people, 1,000 companies came in, started their companies there. They have to do a community service, so they have to actually go and present to local to the local people and talk about innovation, about sort of changing the world and so on. And that really has inspired Santiago and has led to more people wanting to come to Santiago. And I think that's where the government or city governments can make a difference in helping to jumpstart the ecosystem, to help for more people to come, and then to keep it easy for them to come.
So Okay, so if we're saying don't interfere, support, bring great people, and Scott, what are your closing remarks?
I think A difference between a good city and a great city in the 21st century will very simply be, do the people in that city have the power to find the others, to meet up with other people who will help them make their life better? Will that mom who wants to keep a job to make a living be able to find other moms and form a babysitting co-op? Will the people who are all diagnosed with the same disease in a month be able to find each other? Because all the science says, the research says that if people have support groups, they will get better faster. So a city, we all know cities where people just kind of feel closed off, and there are cities where people, where it feels more open.
When they meet, when they share, when there's traffic.
And you talk freedom and magic, and the dream is that it's that magic of when people connect that really, and then they create businesses together, and they help each other out in all kinds of ways. That's the mark of a great city.
Lukas, you get the privilege of taking us all to closing remarks.
Well, I just wanted to say that I really like the notion of freedom, and in opposition to that, or not in opposition, I want to add that even owning a car or the private ownership of a car is becoming a burden to cities, and in my point of view, it is arguable if this is even socially acceptable. But apart from that, I'm in line with Frans, I'm in line with you, I'm in line with all of you guys, and I would like to take it even a notch further, and that is the utopian idea of having a city where direct democracy is possible through technology. So we're talking about this kind of empowerment, and that is a utopia, fair enough, but I believe through technology we're getting closer then.
That's good. I'd like to end our panel with utopia. Just one last word, because I tried not to talk too much about Tel Aviv, but still I have with us Deputy CEO Oren Avrami, which is dealing in Tel Aviv about open spaces. And we talked all the time about the people. And if we want them to meet, and if we want them to have democracy, and if we want them to have freedom and share, you need to have a lot of open spaces where the open space is like a platform. Take this place where we are now. We wouldn't be able to do all these great things here because just 5 years ago it was closed, it was shut down, it was before innovation. So sometimes we do need the cities to interfere in a way, but give these places back to the public, because no one would be able to. So just another little thing, that if you'll go to Rabin Square, if you'll go to Jaffa port, to the Tel Aviv port, to the Tachana, to other places, these places before were neglected, and just by a little bit of the library, that whoever knows the library in Tel Aviv, we just took the places that are owned by the public and renovate them a little bit and bring them back to the public. I think it adds a little bit to this magic and freedom that we can all enjoy. Thank you so much. I tried to make this morning really interesting for us. Thank you, Lukas. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Bjorn. Thank you, Shahar. Thank you, Frans. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you. And enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much.